And we're back. Lake 10 Conference, Munster Mustangs and the Griffith Panthers for tonight's ball game. As the Griffith Panthers ready to come out right now, you see all the black and gold. That is your division conference power of several years past.
Yeah, we're going to get a pretty good look at the wishbone offense tonight, Joe. Second in the region right now in total yards, 361 on the ground, 98 in the air. So they've been averaging about 460 yards a game, and Munster's defense has been giving up about 200 yards rushing per game. So if the Mustangs are going to hang with the Panthers tonight, they're going to have to lower those numbers quite a bit.
One thing you see, we didn't talk about that at all in the pregame, but the wishbone offense is something we'll see tonight, Griffith. And that setup is just historically, especially run by Griffith, just a power. We're going to watch misdirection plays. You're going to see some sweeps, some passes with the talent they have in the backfield. Now senior quarterback Shane Radke, highly recruited by several colleges. And say the man on top of the pile right there. It's the one time of the day the quarterback can be on top of a pileup.
And the thing is about this offense, Joe, you got three backs who can at any time break away for touchdowns. Dennis Palucki, a halfback, had 248 total yards last week, 3 touchdowns in a victory over Highland. He bought some new shoes, and I think you know, he could sort of welcome them onto the field. He's been waiting for them, and to get him in the mail, they had that UPS strike. He finally got him, and first play, I think he ran for a touchdown. So keep an eye on Palucki tonight. Sean Andreessen, one of the speedier backs back there, and then, of course, the fullback, Tom Gracia. So, you know, the wishbone offense really works well when you have 3 guys who can do some damage. And
we've seen it that way for several years in the past. Across the way from Munster, really having an off season right now, rebuilding. Just said 21 of the 22 starters are gone from last season. Throughout the region, they're number 20 in offense, averaging just 140 yards a game, also passing about 58 yards a game. So really, they're averaging under 200 yards a game offense. They have to turn that around and get some sort of numbers on the board to take over tonight's ball game.
The only returning player for the Mustangs, of course, Chris Pfister, who was the starting defensive back last year. This year, he's the starting quarterback. Not having a bad year, although he has 6 interceptions. He's going to have to try to lower that. And again, right now, I think Munster has to concentrate on just improving and doing the fundamentals right, not worrying too much about wins and losses. Not saying you go into a game not wanting to win, but you have to take one step at a time, and I think the Mustangs have to do that tonight. And one thing of note also, their head coach, Leroy Marsh, unable to make it to the game tonight. One of his sons is very sick at the hospital. He's spending some time there, so the assistant coaches will step up, and we wish the best to the Marsh family. Hopefully everything will be okay.
Opening kickoff sets up the Mustangs. 3 players back to receive. This one will bounce about 20 yards on the field, however. Be collected to the 30-yard line and taken down. So the Mustangs start off with decent field position off of a missed kick by Griffith. Recovering the ball for Munster, wearing number 46 is Keith Highland. Starting offensive line across the front. Top it, Webb, Schinken, Guzik, and Ojomo. Yambala, Luptak, and Jablonski in the receiver core. Pfister, McKinley, Bachowski, and Samenzi will be your backs with your wing back in the backfield. So again, a classic offense set up by Munster as their trademark wing back offense. Hand off the left side will go for naught. Looks like he tried a yard out of that one. There's your Panther defense. Stone, Bonema, Rivera, Hill, and Pearson. Holtzback and Tinich are your linebacker core. Your 2 men in the backfield. Brewer, Duke, Schultz, and Todd across the backfield. There you see Coach Radke. Griffith Panthers taking the team to a power. Moved to now his 5th or 6th season with Griffith. The pitch around the corner. Snagged as he got the line. But that one was a breakaway run. If he could have avoided that first tackle, it just wrapped around the waist and held him back.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need, Joe. Sometimes you get out there, just get a hand on the running back and trip him up, and that's the difference between a touchdown and maybe a 2-3 yard game like you see right there. And Griffith doesn't allow many rushing yards this season, 129 so far in 3 games. So the defense, as they say, wins ball games, and usually when you have a good defense, you pretty much come on top.
The running back, Jared McKinley, getting the first 2 calls. He's a senior. Coming back, Pfister looking for the pass. Has a blocking, tucks up in the pocket, and has to take a run for it. Nice job getting back and putting a wrap on him that time as the pocket collapsed. Mike Rivera, listed as nose tackle, came out and got a hold of him.
Not a bad decision right there by Pfister either, Joe. All his receivers are pretty much covered down the field, and the best thing to do rather than throw an interception, take the ball, put it away, and get as much as you can.
Punt sets up, one man or two men going back. We have Radke on the far side.
Come on, dude.
Iambola puts the ball up and the line up short of the receivers. Bound about the 30-yard line, picked up about the 27. Breaking around the right side, finds a hole, cuts the corner, and a big return up to the 42-yard line of the Munster Mustangs. We're going to take a quick timeout as the Panthers come out with the ball first on your primetime game of the week. Radke starts things off, pitches it back, mishandled in the backfield. They have to cover it up at the 46-yard line as the Panthers start off with a miscue. They started off the bat, a fake handoff to the fullback up the middle. Sort of they ran into each other. Radke turned without a good grip on the ball, tried to pitch it back to his up man then, who was coming around the corner, Dennis Palucci. And it just went backwards from there.
Yeah, what happened out of that one was the pitch phase sort of got out of whack, and you'll see right here, coming out with the fake right there, the running back gets a little too far out ahead of Radke, and he's unable to make the pitch. Always got to stay in that pitch phase.
Second down, 20 to go. Radke opens up with a pass. Pass to the far side, open receiver, original line of scrimmage, and put down. Pfister on the defensive side puts the lick on the receiver. What a shot.
Not a bad play either right there by Griffith. Pretty good protection. Radke rolling out right. Hits his primary receiver right away. I believe that was Dennis Palucci. Makes a nice catch, but then gets drilled by Pfister. So Pfister, a quarterback who can hit. You got like that also, Joe.
Of course. Third down, 11 to go. Panthers lost 10 in the first pitch back. Coming back, third down, 11. Long time to set. They're going to break the bone, send them out the far side, wing both sides. Quick hand up the middle. And that dial will go for a couple of yards. As once again, your ball carrier, your main man, Tom Grasha.
Well, what happened that time, Griffith just started out right in the hole with that pitch, lost 8 yards, and they were just trying to get everything they could. Not a bad offensive possession, but nonetheless, pretty good defensive stand by Munster. They're going to get the ball back.
One man back for Munster. He marks Amenzi. Going to be put up in the air from the 50. Quick kick comes down quickly, and an 11-yard line. We'll be right back after this timeout in the primetime game of the week. Pfister, hand off the left side. As McKinley is main running back of choice. Looks like they'll grind a couple yards out of that one. And really, you look at the front lines on both sides. Munster really small on that front side, only a couple guys over 200 pounds. Griffith, on the other hand, has got some experience, has got some size up there. As that'll be a battle. We'll see how it works out tonight. But when that battle does not work out, the offense is in trouble for Munster.
You know, they always say you win games with your blocking. You win it up front, down the trenches, and that's very important, especially in high school football.
A nice cut back across the grain. Pfister going to pick up about 7 on the carry.
You saw a pretty good pursuit right there by the Panthers, but a nice cutback by Pfister. And that's what we were talking about last week, being able to just sort of see the opening and cutting back upfield and picking up what you can, and Pfister able to do it on that play. Griffith man down, though.
Say Pfister, a junior this year. We talked about that several times throughout the season. You watch younger players stepping up. Pfister in a tough situation this year as he's got a rebuilding year around him. A lot of seniors playing for the first time. A lot of underclassmen playing for the first time. But if he can come out this year and make do and make some things work, next year's senior season will be something to watch.
And again, you know, you can't count out Munster this year either. I told you 2 years ago they won 7 straight heading into the playoffs. And as you said, the game type of experience is very important, especially for these young guys. No matter how much they do at practice, it's always different in the games. And they have to get a few of them under their belts. Munster really didn't have an easy schedule to begin the season. Lake Central, 16-0 victory just last week. Then Crown Point beat them 42-7. We saw Crown Point last week. They're a heck of a team. And then Gavitt beat them 21-7. So I think it just takes a little bit of time for these guys to get comfortable and relax in game-type situations. And you might see a different turnaround.
Panthers bringing their injured player off the field right now. It's a situation where one of their main linemen lost here early in the first quarter. Let's watch and see how he turns out on the sideline, what type of seriousness to his injury.
And there you see one of the Griffith coaches going over with the offense. You talk about a specialization program. I was out at their practice. Russ Radke has the #1 offense go against the #2 defense during one practice session. Those guys all go home. The #2 offense goes against the #1 defense. So they're really specialized. And again, only one player going both ways, being Shane Radke.
Off a short yardage, a third down play. Looks like he may be back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe grind some more positive yards out of that. Your down player from the previous play, number 33, Tim Duke. He's a junior defensive back. And Munster gets the first down out of that carry.
A pretty good spot right there, too. I think they take a look at Duke. Hard to tell what happened. Maybe a twisted knee, twisted ankle. They're fooling with his ankle, it looks like.
I say, actually, with the way they stack up, that's a big hazard when you have guys stacking into a pileup like that and just have a free limb sticking out there can really get injured. Pfister rolls back, has some pressure in the pocket. He's snuffed out and taken down as a sack, the first one in the ball game. For Griffith's number 83 coming across, Jeff Stone. Listed in there 6'1" and 185.
Well, Joe, Pfister might have had just a bit more time. He might have been able to hit one of his receivers, Kevin Jablonski, who was open at one point in time. But again, good defensive pressure up front by the Panthers.
Second down, 14 to go for the Mustangs. Pfister sets up the offense. Going back off the left side. Make the pitch back to McKinley. McKinley looks for a hold, did not develop. And stepping back there quickly for Griffith, Shane Tinich, little linebacker, 6'1", 187, was able to stop that hole before it opened up.
And right there, that's just a great example, a good pursuit right there by Tinich, getting into the backfield, making the play. And that's where, if you have a fast linebacker, that's where on those sort of pitches, you really can string out an offense when you have some linebackers who can run. It makes it that much harder to get outside.
Third down, still looking at 14 to go. Pfister, your quarterback, one man in motion, stepping back to pass. Quick step back, he's stuck by the defenders, gets free. Around the left side, going to make something work for a positive yard. As a broken play, as originally the Panthers were able to blitz quickly and get a man in his face. So he had to avoid and just give up on the pass play.
And right there, what we were talking about before, Joe, you were talking about the inexperience of the Mustangs front line. We're seeing it so far. Pfister really hasn't had much time to do anything back there. I mean, you need at least 3 seconds to get off a good pass.
I'd say really for Pfister, showing some great athleticism here and some bad plays as he is able to get out there and avoid a couple of sacks early on and even get some positive yards out of a couple of runs. Ball bound down about the 44-yard line in the punt. Peluki grabs it and goes down about the 40. So the Panthers setting up a decent field position. First quarter action, 4:02 left to play. No score on the board yet. In your Cross Lake 10 Conference rivalry.
Yeah, you really look at the conferences, the blue division, Clark 3-0, Whiting 3-0, Gavitt 2-1, Griffith 2-1, then you got Calumet at 0-3. Pretty strong compared to the black conference. You have Hammond at 2-1, but then Bishop Knoll 0-3, Highland 0-3, Morton 0-3, and Munster 0-3. So that's pretty good news for the Mustangs, I guess, if you look at things.
Because as it shows up now, even 0-3, they're tied for second in the conference.
Right.
Radke twisted around, taken down. The ball pops loose. Going to see where it shows up at. It's very physical right off the bat as both teams getting in there. That play's going to lose about 5 yards. Radke taken down twice now for negative 15 yards on the night.
Well, the one play, of course, pitch phase is out of whack this time. Munster's defensive line really just got a great push upfield and put tremendous pressure on Radke. Nowhere to go. He's just got to hold on to that football.
And your Panthers setting up second down, 16 to go. Hand off first man through, trying to power on the right side tackle and pick up about 4 on the carry.
And again, you take a look at the Panthers, really not a one-dimensional type of team. As I mentioned earlier, averaging 460 yards a game, 361 yards on the ground. But they can also throw the ball. Shane Radke has the opportunity to audible on every play. If he sees something he likes, like a one-on-one matchup outside with one of the receivers, he can audible.
Third down, 12 yards to go, setting up things as the Panthers stepping back, hand off near side. Able to break away from one tackler, going to try to stretch around the corner, breaks the corner, taken out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Palucki set up a nice recovery from that one as it was broken in the backfield originally. Palucki able to turn the corner and make it happen. Radke goes all the way on the right side with this fake to take the defenders with him in the backfield.
You saw a little misdirection back there, and you see Palucki's stats, 289 yards. Had a big game last week, as I already mentioned, and I'll tell you, that whole 5-6 yard game right there was all Palucki.
He got strung out and went for the corner. We talked about that time in and time out for high school football. When you see a guy getting around the corner, he's trying to beat the end. Munster did a good job of containing to a point. Once he got about 10 yards from the sideline, he was by himself. And it was just a pursuit from the backfield that helped cut that one off. Straight T set up for Griffith. Radke keeps it, tucks it up for a big gain. Turn it around the corner. A whistle up low, possibly an inadvertent whistle on the fake play. Coach Radke is living on the near sideline.
And you hear the boos from the fans right there.
Radke was breaking across the 40-yard line of the Mustangs. For sure a definite first down, even more on top of that, a possible touchdown called back.
Here's another replay. Great fake up the middle by Radke, and that was the thing that made that play happen, and all of a sudden you see him stop because he hears a whistle. Haven't seen that happen very much. And of course, understandably, Coach Radke quite a bit livid.
We had an inadvertent whistle. You take the result of the play or replay the down. They're going to take the result of the play. We're going to have first down.
An inadvertent whistle.
I believe, I sort of let my officiating stuff lapse a bit, but I believe what they do is they blow it dead from the position of the ball, where the ball was when the whistle was blown. And so what you'll see, they're going to bring it back just past the line of scrimmage. They got the first down out of it. Radke will get about a 3-yard gain on that run. The fake up the middle to the fullback is what the referee blew the whistle down on, or one of the officials blew the whistle on.
He faked out our cameraman and the referee that time.
Saying, nah, I think Jerry stuck with it around the corner, and Andy stuck with it.
He had him at first, but then he caught up with them.
A loose ball stays a hold of it. Palucki takes it to the Australian football style, a little bump pass.
Sometimes you take it any way you can. Here you see it. You never really did have a handoff. Radke never had the ball initially, and therefore Palucki never could get a hands on it. But great athletic play, and you take what you can get.
Say a couple, I've got nowhere to criticize. Of course, the Griffith Panthers, an excellent program, and their track record will show. But there's a lot of things. There's running offense myself. I just don't like seeing like those fake handoffs and also the audibles. So that things like that happen. But if you have a team with the skill in the background of the Panthers, you can give up one or two of those mistakes for the great yardage they get offensively. Catch around the right side, has a first down. Beautiful job catching the ball, turning the corner. And it's John Andreessen.
We've seen that little outplay right out there in the right flat work a lot. You see Andreessen, not a big guy, only 160 pounds, but as you can see, he can turn on the jets. He picked up an extra 5 yards because of his speed, and you got to stick with him, especially when you're a defensive back. You got to watch his waist, I guess you should say. You never watch his head. You got to watch the player's waist out there, and if you don't watch his, he's going to be gone.
You saw the speed he had too. He turned the corner and just put the foot down.
We got an officials timeout, equipment on the field.
Equipment timeout on the field right now. The official tries to straighten out some gear on the side.
And it's a real nice play, Joe. You know, you give it to your back, nice little short pass out of the backfield. Let him do the rest. We got a back like Andreessen. More often than not, he's going to break off some big plays.
Several times, especially the high school level where you have the athleticism on both sides of the ball, your pass play won't be designed to give your quarterback. This is quarterback Radke this time. An excellent passer, but the high school level, a lot of times you see a quarterback doesn't have the arm to put the ball down the field.
Way to run it, baby!
Run off the right side and pick up about 6.
Again, pretty good job on the first initial ball fake by Radke. Good job on the right side of the line for Griffith. Andreessen, nice pickoff.
Go offense! Go!
And right now you see the Panthers with a pretty decent drive.
Say several times when you have the high school football, the quarterback's not able to throw the ball 40 yards downfield, so you get a good low 10-yard dink pass and let the running back do the rest, let your receiver do the rest. Radke to the flat. Let's turn it up. Met just past the line of scrimmage, taken down the 10-yard line. Nice reception and run. And you see the receiver, number 89, bringing the ball down, Jason Strayer.
That was the same play they ran to Andreessen, just the other side. This time they went to the left side, and things have been open right in that short flat. You give it to Strayer. It's a high percentage pass, and let him do the rest. And Strayer did a good job picking up some extra yards, putting his shoulder down, putting a hit on the defensive back from Munster.
Radke turns the corner, gets away from the first tackler. Hit just near the first down. See if he got that yardage. First quarter down in the final minute. A flag down in the backfield. No score yet. The Panthers looking to break that 0-0 tie. Holding against the Panthers. So a mistake will bring them back.
Yeah, I'll tell you, take a look at Radke sometimes when he holds that ball going around the right side, sort of holds it away from his body. You see Rashawn Salam do that a lot. For the Bears, you saw him do it a couple times last Sunday.
First down, goal to go. We're back all the way to near the 20-yard line. Mark the 19. Radke, the bone behind him. Hand off second man across the break. Looking for the end zone. That just made a longer touchdown run. Paluki puts the gas on the left side and takes it in for the touchdown.
Well, we were just talking about Sean Andreessen being able to kick it into extra gear with the speed. Right there, I think you see the senior Dennis Paluki showing he can also put the jets on for Griffith. That was all speed. That touchdown was a result of all speed. And again, nice initial fake up the middle by Radke. Good job by Griffith. Left side of the line opening up a pretty nice hole. The rest was pretty much a foot race for the end zone, and Paluki got there. Griffith up 6-0 early on. It must be the shoes, Joe.
Ball put down the ground, put up the uprights. 7-0. Panthers with the lead. In the final minute of the first quarter, they take a score to put them up on top of the Munster Mustangs. The Mustangs now will get the ball, and really, after no offense is formulated for them whatsoever the last 2 possessions, they have to get something working here and just take the ball throughout this first half, try to continue a drive in the second quarter, and see if they can put some more points on the board to match this and just get some momentum going offensively.
And you start that by, number one, giving your quarterback some time. Pfister's been running for his life back there. I don't know, maybe some of the things you could do is dump off some passes to your backs out of the backfield, or maybe do something like a draw. But right now, Pfister, not much time to do anything in the backfield for Munster.
And when he has a chance to, McKinley has broken a couple of runs for quick gainers around the corner, but really no holes to develop for him either. He takes his first hit as he reaches the line of scrimmage, which you do not want as a running back. You want him to have that first, you want your line to do the first 3 yards of the work for you on a running play.
It doesn't matter how good of a running back you are either, Joe.
You need that offensive line to give you the first 3 yards of any run. McKinley up the middle, returns, gets right in his blockers. Took it up to the 32-yard line, 33.
There's a pretty good look at that wedge off the kickoff. You get 4 or 5 guys shoulder to shoulder. Running back runs right behind him. Hopefully a hole can break up out of there. Well, now we'll see if the Mustangs can do anything offensively.
And really, so far, Pfister not able to put any passes in the air. Both times he's dropped back. He's had to scramble out of the pocket. He got a nice gain on a 1 run. Up the middle, off the right side guard. McKinley will chug about 2 yards out of that one.
Yeah, I think to start going, I think Munster's going to have to put the ball up in the air, just hit some of their backs out of the backfield. It's a high percentage pass, and it usually takes away that rush, the pressure that the defensive line from putting on Pfister all night.
Second down, looking at about 8 to go. And the first quarter comes to a close. We'll take a timeout. Be right back after this with the second quarter on your primetime game of the week. And we're back. Second quarter about to be underway as the Panthers with the first 4 on the board in the final seconds of the first quarter make it 7-0. Now the Mustangs a chance to bring it back. Second down, 8 to go. Off the first run by McKinley off the side.
Yeah, Munster put together a pretty impressive drive. They mixed it up. They threw to some of their backs, their receivers sort of out in the short little flat patterns. And then, again, a good job by Shane Radke with that first fake. And then hits the next back going through the hole.
Second down, about 8 to go. As the Mustangs setting it up. And back around the near side. The break, the first down, has a positive yardage up to the 50-yard line. What a gain. That one a bit of a misdirection to it, as it turns out to be a 15-yard run around the corner.
Yeah, Ben Bochnowski, 5'8", 170-pound senior for Munster. You saw one of Griffith's defenders maybe over pursuing that time, running right by Bochnowski. I don't know if he thought Bochnowski didn't have the ball or what. Here's another look at it. Just a little off the left guard. Pretty nice hole, really untouched until he's about 10, 12 yards down the field.
So what happened was a misdirection. Everything sort of faded to the right. He cut back left against the grain. All you need is one good block of that play, and you're through the first line of scrimmage. McKinley, a pitcher on the right side. He'll pick up about 3 or 4 on the carry.
And again, you see very good pursuit right there by the Panthers. Their linebackers really cover a lot of ground quickly, and when it takes a long time for a play to develop, they're going to be right in your face.
And that's what Munster did in the last play with that big run by Bochnowski, as he got the handoff. Griffith was so intent on pursuing the first direction of that play, he was able to cut back and get the gain. Right up the middle, just a power run, and you get about 4 on the carry.
This time we see Munster at least getting some sort of offensive possession. They're sort of getting their rhythm going. The last couple of times really haven't been able to do anything. They've been in and out in 3, punting the ball, but this time they've been able to do some things successfully. Right now faced with a very crucial 3rd and 4 situation.
And this is a turnaround spot. They've only got 1 first down here in the first 2 series. They can do it right here on 3rd down to keep the momentum rolling. Pfister going to keep it, turn it up on his own. He's caught in the line by Radke. QB versus QB. Maybe the line of scrimmage. That's about all he got.
I don't know what type of play was called, whether or not Pfister had the option to run or throw, but he had a man downfield. I think it was number 16, Jared McKinley, open in the flat. Nobody was on him.
I think in that situation we had again where he rolled out, and I think one of the options was to roll out like a bootleg play, but he had too much pressure to look for a pass, I think.
You might be right about that, but he did have a man open.
4th down, 4 to go. Going to be punting the ball away for the Mustangs. Out to the sideline, going to go out about the 21-yard line. And we'll take a time on our own on the primetime game of the week. And we're back. Handoff up the middle. Gonna slug it out after about a yard down the field.
Yeah, that time not much there for the Griffith running back. That was the play they ran for a touchdown, I think, earlier to the left side. Initial fake to one of the running backs, and another one follows on the left side of the line, but this time Munster held its ground and did a pretty good job tackling.
Lukey makes it second down, about 6 to go off that first carry. Along a long 6 or 7 yards. Stuffed up the line, Radke has to break away. Libby swarms as he turns the corner. Nice hit. A nice tackle by Pfister. These quarterbacks are hitting him on both sides of the ball. Both quarterbacks are excellent defensive backs.
Well, remember, Pfister was a starting defensive back last year for the Mustangs. And again, Munster stacking the line right there, bringing everybody, so really not much chance for a run right there. Radke just trying to make the most out of nothing. And a great, yeah.
That's textbook hit. Put the head in front of the pads, drove the first step through it, wrapped the arm around. Just textbook tackling. Griffith wanting to spread the line out some. You see the running back showing things around. The full wishbone setting up, 8 seconds left on the play clock. Radke will get the signals. And the Mustangs jump off sides. They're going to point to the right side yard, but I think the Mustangs will be the guilty party in this one. The Panthers pick up the first down on the penalty.
And I think that time Radke saw Munster coming with the blitz. He saw the defenders coming up, the linebackers stacking the line of scrimmage, so he tried to call for an audible. Took some length of time. I think Munster just got a little antsy and jumped off sides.
First and 10. The broken bone showing. 2 backs on the near side, 1 foot down to the left side. Rasha takes a hit off the left side tackle. Rasha picks up 4 yards in that carry.
I'll tell you, a tough 4 yards right there, and really the prototypical fullback, especially in high school. 6'1", 191 pounds, and he's there to pretty much run north and south, I think, Joe. You got those other guys, the speedsters, to mix it up back there, but Rasha, I think, is going to run right at you, or over you sometimes.
Radke, pressure behind him. Chase around the corner, picked off. Tries to dump the pass off as he runs towards the sideline and right to the hands of the waiting defender for the Mustangs. We'll try to check the number here, 44. There you go, number 44 for the Mustangs, which is Jason Roscoe, the senior linebacker.
And there you see who made the play, number 81, Eric Talbot, putting great pressure on Radke, forcing him to make a bad throw, making a bad decision. Radke, of course, throwing into traffic there for Munster, and here's a nice break. Maybe the Mustangs can get something out of it. They have pretty good field position. I think it's the best they've had all night. Now we'll see what they can do with it.
They punted the ball away the 3 times last they had the ball. Now at the 40-yard line of the Panthers. Let's see if they can move this towards the end zone. Second quarter action, 7:42 left to play. The Panthers up 7-0. The pitch will go back to McKinley. He uses the first blocker, hit at the line. Nice heavy hit at that line of scrimmage as really it broke open but shut down quickly as Steve Holtzbach, just 6'1" linebacker, weighing 201, put all every ounce of that on him.
Yeah, that was a nice form tackling right there. He hit the running back low and wrap. That's the important thing. A lot of times in high school you see guys just hitting and not wrapping. There you see number 33, Tim Duke for Griffith. He had his ankle wrapped up. He was injured, of course, a couple possessions ago. No word on whether or not he'll return to the game. We'll try to get that with our sideline reporter down there, Joe. Where's Lynn Swan when you need him?
Looks like he's trying to work that out some from the trainer, so he's trying to come back, what it looks like. And we'll go to break. It's a time on the field right now. Your score is 7-0. Panthers lead on your primetime game of the week. By the Mustangs, Jason Roscoe set up this excellent position for the Mustangs. Now they're second down, about 6 to go. 6 or 7.
And that's how important putting a pressure on a quarterback is, especially at the high school level. You can force a lot of guys to make some bad decisions. We saw Radke do one right there. Doesn't make many bad decisions. The kid has a lot of pressure on him. You know, Russ Radke wouldn't allow him to audible at the line if he didn't know what he was doing. But, you know, he's human. Right now, Munster's got a great chance to punch something in for a score. Get back in the ball game.
Pfister turns around, pressure from behind. He breaks away in the first 2 sets of tacklers. And taken down by the original line of scrimmage. He'll be sacked back for a 3-yard loss. And that way you saw just too many defenders in on him that time. I believe the man to get the final stop was Joe Bonema, defensive end, 6'5", 231. As he got back there and put the final stop, but really, Pfister wasn't looking for a receiver. He was looking to get away from 3 defenders.
No, and that's what he's been doing all night, Joe. Really hasn't had too much time back there to make some things happen. And you really can't do much.
3rd down, 10 to go. Pfister back, looking to pass. Pressure from behind him already. Makes a pass. Incomplete off the turf. His intended receiver. It'll be 4th down and 10. So the Mustangs really an opportunity. Slips through their fingers at this point.
And I'll tell you, Griffith right there had their linebacker Steve Hulsbach coming on that play. And right now, I think, you know, Coach Radke understands that he's got Pfister on the run, and you got to keep the pressure on, force the young quarterback into making some bad decisions.
So the front line taking a beating for the Mustangs. Not much experience, not much size up there, and it's really trying to show a bit. Ball punted down to about the 11-12 yard line. It'll be marked out at the 15.
You saw Dan Diambala that time. A lot of times punters have really 2 options. They can just try to get some air under the ball, kick it straight down the field, or a lot of times you see guys angle for one of the sidelines, and a lot of times that's the better decision because it takes away the return. A lot of times the high school punters don't get enough air under the ball, and that punt return man gets it with 15, 20 yards between him and the punt return team, and he has some movement, some a chance to break up something long.
Especially the speed we've seen on the Griffith Panther side. Really, Munster wanted to avoid that at all costs because we've seen 3 other players with total breakaway speed so far tonight.
Wow.
Radke wrestled down. Just getting through there and just keeping the death grip. Tom Webb gets a hold of him and just does not let anything happen.
Tom Webb leading the team. He's got 4 sacks, make that his 5th right there. And that's one of the things they're going to have to do if they want to win this game, put pressure on the quarterback. And right from the get-go, Webb on Radke, not much he can do there except just try to hold on to the football. Webb is the starting nose tackle for the Mustangs.
Radke's runs have gone for minus 18 yards so far tonight. Grand total. Mustangs wrapping the ball here right at the line of scrimmage.
And here's one of those situations too, Joe, where if you're Munster, you don't give up. Okay, so Griffith stopped you. You had great offensive possession. You really couldn't do much with it. But now, thanks to a great punt, if you can stop Griffith here on 3 plays and force down the punt, you're going to have the same field position one more time to get another chance. 4:43 left to go. Plenty of time, ample time to score some points.
Going out, Radke looking to pass, has some time. Now he's pressure, throws the ball almost away, almost caught by Palucki at the 25-yard line. And went just past the fingertips of a defender who could have picked it, and then in the hands of Palucki, but out of bounds.
And again, pretty good pressure right there by Munster's defensive line. You see Radke rolling right, has some time to set up, but there you see Webb again right on him. And I think that was about the only decision he had on that one, Joe. His other receivers were well covered downfield.
She nearly threw it to our cameraman on the sideline, Jerry. He could have caught that, I think. Put an arm out there, Jerry. Come on.
Jerry right up on the action down there.
Said in the pregame, this game on paper looks to be a Griffith walkaway, but really, with the conference rivalry and the crosstown rivalry here, Munster really playing tough. The ball tips right by. I'll tell you what, right there, you saw Mark Cementi step up there. Almost get hit by the ball as it bounded, and you know the coaching staff for Munster was on the edge of their seat.
And that was just a fantastic punt right there. I think that was Shane Tinich, starting linebacker. punt had a nice hang time, had a spiral on it, and of course, the most important thing, it got Munster 10, 15 yards back from the initial landing of the ball.
An extra 10 yards is also helpful in situations like this.
Yeah, that's the difference between being in Griffith's territory and being in your own territory right here.
Seen a couple of great plays open up for the Mustangs so far tonight. They can get one of those run plays as they had the misdirection earlier. Butnowski. Oh, inside handoff on the right side. And a big hit in the backfield. Watch him coming up from that play as I believe that was number 63, Luke Pearson, the defensive end, stepping in to put a stop to that play.
And also on that, number 31, Shane Tinich in there. Just saw him pull off a pretty halfway decent punt, and now putting a big hit on Munster's running back. And again, not much there.
So the front line battle is going to Griffith right now as the Mustangs are not able to negate that first yard drive. Second down, 11 to go. Pfister keeps it, going to make the pitch. Tries to turn the corner, he'll get a couple yards out of it. Did not develop the way they wanted it to.
Well, that time the Panthers had all the options covered right there. And not a bad pitch by Pfister. He did what he was supposed to. He attacked the Griffith defender, made a halfway decent pitch, but again, Munster had the quarterback covered, and they had the pitch man covered that time.
Third down, looks like about 7 or 8 yards to go.
Well, I'm thinking he's got to put it up in the air this time, Joe.
And with the way he's had pressure, he may not have the opportunity. 4 linebackers back for the Panthers. This one will sweep around, hand off to McKinley. He'll get some yardage out of it, but not enough for the first down.
And once again, Shane Tinich in on the tackle, solo tackle right there. Great pursuit. And there's no substitute for speed either side of the ball, and you just love to see that when you have a linebacker who can run and cover some ground. There's our injured man on the field.
Let's go, Paluki!
Tim Duke.
We saw him earlier go out. He apparently has sprained an ankle now. His ankle was taped up. He talked to trainers, was moving on the sideline some. Now he has a shoe back on, the helmet in his hand, looking like he's ready to go back in there. Snap will roll back to the punter, going to come up to the 30-yard line before it's caught. Bobbled once, turned and taken down. And Panthers take over the ball. Right now we'll take a time on our own, 7-0 on the primetime ball game of the week. Well, actually they're drawing a couple out of it. Just carrying the ball, Guasha.
And Griffith going back to work right away. The no-huddle offense, only a minute 30 left in the half. Trying to maybe get a score on the board and take some more momentum with them to halftime.
Radke keeps the ball, tucks it up, has a big gain in the middle for the first down.
And again, credit the initial fake right there for that gain. And you see, I was talking about earlier, Radke just holding that ball out there with just one hand. As he has a tendency to do that, he's got to be careful. Munster doesn't swat it away.
What happened too, you saw him, he came out and the pitch man was way out there and made the defender follow him. Then it turns into a Radke one-on-one situation with the linebacker, which he can take up there and challenge all he wants.
That's the beauty of the wishbone offense, I guess. That's why Coach Radke's been running it 5 years.
Radke tries out in the middle, but getting in there with a hand on the ball here. Tom Webb once again wrapping the ankle.
Yeah, the Munster nose tackle having a pretty busy game today. He's been all over Radke at times.
Timeout, Black.
Panthers will call timeout on the field.
Well, the last couple possessions for Griffith, Munster's been stacking the line. And that does change a lot, Joe, the mentality for Munster. Griffith being such a good defensive team, being so fast, very hard to come from behind when you're down 2 touchdowns. Not that it can't be done. We've seen Munster break off some pretty nice runs tonight.
But really the offense not not forming the Mustang offensive squad. They've been able to come out and put a couple first downs on the board, but they have not really developed and gotten a series to work or gotten a good drive even. They picked up about 16 yards in one series, and they've had to punt the ball away 3 other times. So really, the Mustangs have stalled out offensively. Now let's see if they can come out and make this series work going into the second half. They get one big play here, or get the ball back in the second half.
And you have to wonder how much Leroy Marsh's absence means.
Onside kick attempt, player goes offsides.
Right there, Griffith is trying to take away the chance or the opportunity for a big return right there by Munster.
On the black, 5 yards and re-kick the ball.
And maybe in the process of doing so, recovering their own kickoff also.
Just the fact they can go out there and snag their own kickoff, that's really a great psychological factor. You can 2 touchdowns up going in the locker room at halftime.
What I was referring to earlier, Leroy Marsh, of course, if you're just joining us, not being able to make the game tonight. One of his sons is ill in the hospital, and that's where he had to go. And of course, you're in high school, you know, you're so used to having a figure on the sideline that, you know, you've been listening to for practices and games, and when they're not there, I think it makes a difference sometimes, especially with a younger team, inexperienced team.
On the sideline tonight for the Mustangs. Our coach staff pitching in and keeping things together tonight. The solid coaching staff together for many years under coach Leroy Marsh. Just 2 seconds left on the clock here in this first half. 14-0, your Panthers lead. Mustangs had the ball. It looked like time for one play. They literally go for all the money here.
I'd probably just kneel it, go back into the halftime, make some adjustments, come back out and go from there. You don't want to take a chance. You never know what can happen. Sometimes you throw that long ball, gets into the hands of the defenders, you break one tackle, you get a lucky block here, and now you're down by 3 touchdowns, which is definitely not where you want to be.
The Panthers moving a couple defenders way back. Actually about 20 yards downfield. Knocked down. First half comes to a close. 14-0 your score. Panthers over Mustangs back after this time out in the primetime game of the week. A 14-point lead. Your quarterback. Now, something you said here earlier, Chris. Shane Radke being the coach's second son to the program. Of course, his third son to the program. Freshman Tyler Radke, his freshman season, listed as a quarterback as well. Around the corner, the 10-yard pickup. Heiser is there to put a stop to it.
I'll tell you, Pfister might have saved a touchdown right there. Joe Radke pretty fast also. If he would have turned that corner, he might have been gone.
Radke really got there all by himself, and Pfister was able to get out there and put a stop to the run, just a quick ankle wrap.
And this is what we saw last week. The Panthers, of course, up by just only a single touchdown over Highland, and they came out and ran all over them in the second half. You got to wonder, maybe the coaches got to these guys and pumped them up a little bit, and they're fired up right now.
Just shy of the first down, second down, inches to go. Panthers spread out the wishbone a bit, hand off to the fullback. Going to break the first hole. And that stays on his feet. What a move. Is able to stay on his feet and make the run clear down into Mustang territory to the 43-yard line.
What a great right there by the fullback, Tom Grasha. You'll see him get through the line. Pretty good blocking. But then you'll see him lower his shoulder right there, and he does that reach drill you do at practice. You're falling. You just put your arm out there. It saves you from falling. Picked up an extra 5-10 yards. Great run by the fullback, Tom Grasha. Pretty athletic move right there by a pretty big guy.
The Mustangs have to really suck it up right here and put a stop to this drive. First 2 plays, going about 30 yards. Radke, pump fake, going to keep it up. Now he's under pursuit. Caught back about the 50-yard line, pulled back to the 45 and taken down hard. That time a coverage sack. He pulled back, tried to pump to one player, tried to pump to a second player. The defensive backfield had it covered, and Radke ended up getting swarmed. Right now, there's a Munster Mustang down in the field.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Number 18, Kevin Jablonski, was the defensive back for Munster right there, who did not bite on the pump fake.
I saw a hat go down.
Oh, was that a hat?
There's a hat on the far side, and yes, he marked where he caught the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was right there.
I thought he might have been calling one of the Griffith guys out there for a clip, but must have been something else.
Third down, about 4 to go for the Panthers. Now this right back position they needed. Up the middle, Grasha. Just a wrecking ball up the middle.
Yeah, that was all Grasha. You saw the initial hit being put on well before the first down, but he kept his legs moving and was able to pick it up. And right now, Griffith really putting together a pretty impressive first offensive drive. They've been able to do it in the air and on the ground so far. Not a good sign for Munster.
Grasha so far tonight, 7 carries, 66 yards. Of course, he did have a big 30-yard popper early on. Munster has a timeout in the field. They want to regroup the defense, figure out what some things that they can do to stop this drive as the Panthers have just got the ball rolling down the field. Next week, back to Dillman Conference as Maryville goes to Michigan City. We get to go out to that awesome field. Did you go there last year?
I was there a couple years ago.
Okay. At Michigan City, one of the Depression-era stadiums taken down. They rebuilt in the same site, just an awesome facility. We love going out there to cover football. And with the consolidation of the Michigan City schools now, the Wolves doing a great comeback last season, really showing their power.
Always a competitive team put out there, and again they're playing in the Duneland Conference, which is not a cakewalk by no means. A lot of great matchups tonight in the Duneland. Crown Point and Hobart, 2 undefeated teams going at it. Maryville Portage right across town also.
Radke hit right at the line and had to tuck the ball up and run around the corner. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
And Munster finally got a stop that time. Mark Semenzi able to drag Radke down in pursuit. And here you see just not much there by Radke. All he could do is pretty much run outside. Tries to do a little pump fake, maybe get the guys jumping, but nowhere to go. Mark Semenzi brings him down.
I'm not sure that's planned, or with the way Griffith runs their offense, with the option, with the audibles, we'll see a lot of plays that look like they're broken because they come out and Radke will stuff the ball into somebody's breadbasket on the way by and then pull it right back out. You don't know if it's an intended fake or if there's a miscue, because several times they do end up bouncing off each other in the backfield.
Well, a lot of times as a quarterback, you have the option to either keep the ball or give it to the running back.
Grasha just powers across the middle of the line once again across the Mustang defense.
Grasha pretty.
And we're back. The way it works out, a little mistake, lost power here at the Panther field, and on the field at the same time, the Panther offense lost power. A snap from the line. Radke turned the pitch and lost the fingers on it. It popped loose. Ended up losing about 10 yards in the carry. Munster recovered. Oh, we got it in the replay.
Yeah, there you see it. The referee said, no, he's down, clear indication. But, of course, Pfister taking that ball going downfield. Almost 7 the other way, Joe.
4th down, 10 to go now for the Panthers. Clock down to 5 seconds on the play clock. Radke looking to pass. Back in the pocket once again, stepping up the line now as he tucks the ball to run. He's taken down. The Mustangs capitalize on a miscue and bringing the final tackle there. John Cole, the senior, 5'9" defensive back. And the Mustang offense can come out with some momentum now.
Well, I think they did, Joe. You know, Griffith came out and pounded the football. Had Tom Grasha just running up the middle. Big yardage by the Panthers, but then the Mustangs answered the bell. They came back, made a defensive stop. They bent but didn't break, and now they've got the football. And as you said, maybe some momentum. Let's see what they can do. The first half, really not very successful. Pfister, really not much time to do much in the backfield as far as throwing the football. The battle being won definitely in the trenches by Griffith. Let's see if something changes, what kind of adjustments they've made.
Pfister rolls out, makes the pass, caught in the flat, turned up, first down yardage. Nice snag brought down by Mark Semenzi.
And that's one of the things you can do rather than just have Pfister drop back, 3-5-step drop and stay in the pocket. He was getting pressured and flushed out of the pocket so much in the first half. The alternative is to have him roll out. That way he's got the option, maybe a better look at his receivers downfield. He can run or throw. Pretty good look right there by the Mustangs.
I've got that as the Mustangs' first complete pass this ball game. 7:15 left to play here in the third quarter. They trail by 14 as it's a 0-14 score. Handoff inside. Nice drive across the right tackle. Nice job, ball carrier. Bushnowski.
I also think it was a good job to loosen up the Griffith defense. Munster throwing, going to the air on first down. We didn't see very much of that in the first half.
Move our offensive line charge up now. They got that first little series to work out for them. Here we go now. Second down, 5 to go. Just the third first down on offense by the Mustangs. Handoff, right side, pops loose. Recovered, or has Griffith had the ball on the bottom? Looks like it goes back to the Panthers. The Panthers capitalized on a mistake that time as McKinley was hitting the ball pop loose.
There you see McKinley running through the line, trying to do a little spin move right there and just loses the ball in the process. Griffith right there for the recovery.
Panthers had the ball back after this timeout in the primetime game of the week. First and 10 for the Panthers. Up by a pair of touchdowns. Wanting to do some more damage right here. The quick handoff from the middle. We're getting the drive from the first line. The offensive line is opening up a hole. The fullback just plunging into it. And he's getting that first 3 yards for free, as we spoke about earlier. And then after that, it's up to the linebackers to wrap and try to bring them down. But with the strength Grasha is showing, it's very hard to do one man on one defender.
Yeah, definitely easier said than done.
Second down, just shy of 5 yards to go. Up the middle, stuffed at the line. Nice out that time. A lot of the Mustangs just coming right through the line. Saw the man coming around the backside. Number 58, Matt Ojomo, made the wrap from behind.
At that time, Munster just needed to put a stop to the runs right there, and they brought a few people that worked out for him.
Third down, 5 to go. Panthers stick with that constant driving offense. See if they get something to stay right here. Once again, fullback up the middle.
And that's the story of the game. Joe Griffith controlling the line of scrimmage. Grasha getting a lot of work in the second half, carrying the ball 80% of the time, I'd say. Just on straight dives, picking up a lot of yards.
Grasha go up the middle once again. The power fullback run coming back with the turf in the face mask. It's a way to look. First down, 10 to go. Panthers once again rolling out Radke. He's about 5 out of the carry.
Yeah, he picked up an extra 5 actually on that nice spin move right there, and he kept his legs moving to get it. Otherwise, he was pretty much caught the line of scrimmage. And you see Griffith just trying to mix it up. They go inside, and try to break one up outside on the option. And again, keep in mind, Radke does have the option to audible at the line of scrimmage every play.
Turns the corner and breaks up the middle, looking for the end zone on this one. Inside the 5, tripped up and pulled down. A flag from behind the play, though, usually indicates a hold in the line of scrimmage. Matter of fact, one of the Panthers coming back, motioning that to the bench. Holding against the Panthers to negate that big run.
I was trying to see who that was on, Joe, but couldn't get a number.
They're holding on the black On the run.
We saw that time Griffith taking advantage of the wide side of the field, being able to use their speed. But a nice break from Munster nonetheless.
We'll say as the it comes away and 10 yards from the point of the infraction brings it back second down, about 9 to go. Radke back in the pocket, throws deep to the end zone. Man long, incomplete, just out of his reach.
That was a nice time to do something like that too, Joe. Go to the air and go deep. We haven't seen Griffith do that very much tonight. Here's another look at it.
Jason Strayer's intended receiver from the tight end slot.
Pretty good protection and a pretty nice ball. And we've said this a million times. If you're going to miss, you want to miss a little far, and that's exactly what Radke did. Gave his receiver a chance to run under it, but that loosens up the defense too. You have so much success running them off the middle. Munster makes an adjustment. They clog up the line a little bit. Now you throw the long pass, loosen them up a little bit.
Third down, 9 to go for the Panthers. Boy, I've been seeing a quick dive in the middle right here can be pretty effective, but Radke's gonna step back to the pass, lets it fly near side again, open receiver, caught the 10. Stepped inside of the 6-yard line. Sprayer, the intended receiver, wide open in the middle of everything.
Great selection right there by Radke, and the key to this was he had a lot of time back there to set up and choose a receiver. He had 3 intended receivers. He picked the open one, the middle one, the right decision. Pretty good ball, nice catch. And I'll tell you, if Griffith pounds this one in, that changes the game.
Sure does. Right now, 2 scores away. The Mustangs, from say they're still in it, just a quick play away from bringing it right back in their grasp. But if they get 3 touchdowns down, that's usually the breaking point of when a lot of teams will put their second and third string players in. Keeping his feet, spinning, winding, getting in the end zone. So up the middle, Palucki once again. He made the dive, got jammed up in the hole. You watch it just clog up on him. Stays behind his lineman. Turns around and gets it in as Grasha, the man carrying the ball. He's showing that power.
That's why you never quit till you hear that whistle, Joe. You know, Grasha didn't quit. I don't know if some of the Munster defenders did or not, but just tough, hard-nosed running right there by the fullback, who's looked very impressive. I don't know how many yards he's picked up in the second half.
Injured player come out the field for Munster. Mustang number 58, Matt Jomo. Called his name a few times, man. It said it'll be missed by the Munster defense. But up under his own power, a good thing. Looks like just a minor injury.
Well, so far, Joe, I think Griffith's been able to pretty much do what they wanted to offensively in the second half. They mix it up real nice, and you see a lot of runs by Grasha up the middle. And we've seen Radke dropping back and throwing a much deeper ball than we've seen. I mean, out of the first half, we've seen just little flat passes to the running backs. Now he's going downfield more.
Kick goes up and splits and makes it 21-0 here in the third quarter. Panthers the big lead. Well, right now the score with the 3 touchdown lead, really, Munster did a decent job of holding and checking Griffith offense in the first half, but just the position and a couple of big plays put them in the territory. Well, Munster really just being.
Fisher just hasn't had the time back there, but we're able to see what they can do this time. There you see the wedge up the middle.
The big break across the 45-yard line. So McKinley brings the ball up a nice position for the Munster offense to start off at.
Here's another look at it. You see McKinley just get behind 4 or 5 guys from Munster, just go shoulder to shoulder, pretty much untouched until after about a 30, 40-yard gain. So Munster starting off on the right foot right now. Let's see if they can put that ball into the end zone, get something going.
defense. Griffith Panthers, the number 6 defense in the area. Just allowing about 175 yards a game.
Yeah, we talk about their offense, the wishbone. They have so many offensive weapons, but defense is very tough for the Panthers.
Nice job turning the corner. Hustled over the sideline. Here's the ball carrier, Micknowski.
Pretty good effort right there just to escape being caught for a loss in the backfield. We mentioned the Panthers so fast on defense, really can get to the pursuit.
Second down, 5 to go. Movement in the line for Munster.
Munster had the pitch, it was open. If he would have just pitched it to Bochnowski, he might have had a big game. But it's easy to see from up here, though.
Of course. So when your fists are looking at 3 or 4 Panthers right in front of your face, it's not really one of your top priorities. He's more in the survival mode of thinking.
Right.
Third down, about 12 yards to go for the Mustangs. Pfister hands it off in the middle. McKinley's able to keep his feet. Look at about 6 or 7 out of the carry. A very tough 6 or 7. Was right there to put a stop on him was Sean and Andreessen. Wung him down to the turf hard.
Well, right now, if Munster decides to punt, which I'm sure they will, hopefully they can get a good punt and get a score as a result of their defense, which they need. They need a quick score here. Only 1:33 left in the third quarter. Time's running out. And of course, once Griffith gets the ball, they've been able to pretty much do what they want to on the ground, which means they're going to chew up a lot of that clock.
Kick stays low, back to the 10-yard line. Open field on the far side, going to turn the corner. Breaks across the 20, the 30. Knocked around the 35-yard line and out of bounds. What a return. That time picking the ball up and putting his feet on. Josh Todd followed the blocking from the right all the way around the left side.
I'll tell you, that was a great pump by Dan Diambala. You'll see nice air underneath it. Nice catch by Josh Todd, and pretty much give credit to the punt return team by Griffith. Todd wasn't touched until 30, 40 yards later.
Look at the man putting the hit on the corner. Pfister.
That's Pfister. That's our man Pfister. Really an impressive.
Looks like Dan Diambala right there to stack him up in the line.
But now Griffith, not so bad field position, whereas before Munster was sort of hoping to get those guys deep in their own territory.
Around handoff. Breaks across, lots open grass in front of him. Pfister to race him down. Turns inside, keeps his feet. Up to the 40-yard line, cuts the 20. Going to cross the 10. Up and in the end zone, touchdown. It's a 62-yard run. What a hustle.
I'll tell you, Joe, initially getting through that line, good job by Griffith's right side of the line, but the rest of that was all Sean Andreessen. He's the fast guy. You see him break through the line. Runs right by number 21 there for Munster, heading to the sidelines. You'll see him cut back on Pfister right here. It looks like Pfister had him, but keeps the legs moving. Not a big kid, but strong, and still fails to go down. Right before he goes in for the touchdown, he thinks about giving the ball to his lineman. See him right there? I know you like that, Joe. Getting those linemen for the touchdown.
I like seeing those linemen 50 yards downfield. That is impressive.
Right.
Up and splits it. I said right there is what shows a quality front line setup. When he goes 64 yards out of the field, there's 2 linemen that meet him down there and help run the blocking. Those guys, talking about not quitting till the whistle blows, those guys were running relay for him all the way down there for his for entourage.
Yeah, a lot of times you see those guys just kind of sit back and watch like a fan when one of the receivers or one of the DBs goes down and makes a stop. But very impressive run right there by Andreessen. You see, when you get him outside with his speed and agility, there's going to be a lot more touchdowns like that for the Griffith running back. And now Griffith, of course, in total control, 28-0 getting into the fourth quarter.
Usually 21 points a decision when coaches start putting in some of the other players and getting some guys some time in the field. And 28 points, you're for sure going to see a lot of extra names out there. So brought down, nice return, starting to develop, but nothing really quite came of it as Dan Diambala.
And it was Shane Tinnitz right there on the tackle for Griffith. We've said his name a lot tonight. And what you were mentioning, Coach Radke likes the, he's got an offensive first string, he's got a defensive first string, and he's got another 11 of offensive number twos and defensive number twos. You might see the whole team kind of just go in there. He likes to do that. You talk about rebuilding. Griffith's JV team has not lost a game since Coach Radke's been there. I believe they're 35, 36-0.
That's something great. You see the underclassmen doing that well on the way to the varsity level. Of course, myself with the Hobart background, I remember it was a big deal to have a program going undefeated. You can get your 7th graders on up to go undefeated. And Griffith also a great reputation as a Griffith Highland Pop Warner team, making national playoffs some time ago. Some of these boys were on that team.
Well, that's the thing. You just get used to winning, and that shows in tight, close games.
And on the field right now, third quarter comes to a close. We'll take a break ourselves. Back after this timeout in the primetime game of the week. McKinley keeps his feet. Nice run, a 6-yard pickup.
And I know in talking with Coach Russ Radke earlier in the week, he was saying their sort of coaching style is a lot of teaching, a lot of, I guess you could say, classroom work. Their offense gets a big playbook a couple inches thick. The defense, same thing. So you got a guy who's been around 2, 3 years, 4 years. He knows a lot more than you can cram in a lot more with him than just some good athlete who's there for 1 year.
McKinley stumbles and keeps his feet, puts a hand down and gets an extra yard out of it for that first down.
We see McKinley getting a lot of work right now for Munster. Pretty hard-nosed runner, keeps his legs moving.
First down and 10 for the Mustangs. Inside handoff, met the line, taking down after about a yard. So Bagnowski left his feet and trying to crawl over the top of the defenders, didn't work out.
Not much room for Bagnowski to operate right there. And again, Munster pretty much into this ball game, well into at least the first half of the third quarter. They had some opportunities. I think one of the things that killed them was that punt return right there by Griffith. They had a chance to get the Panthers deep in their own territory with the score only 14-0. At that point, early third quarter, anything can go, but Griffith pulled off a 30-40 yard punt return and combined with the Andreessen run.
A timeout on the field. And we'll take one ourselves, 28-0, Griffith lead on the primetime game of the week.
Here's no call.
Cross-conference matchup.
There you see the Citrus Bowl bound Griffith cheerleaders down there.
And the London bound.
And the London bound, excuse me. Very impressive.
So you're talking about the fundraisers they have going on right now to contact the school for more information about selling the mums and the magnets and everything else to get the girls, as we indicated, the round trip tickets.
Right. A round trip ticket to London, I'd imagine, be pretty expensive. So the girls have to raise that on their own. So if you're interested, just call the school. They'll let you know what to do.
Second down, a bit of a broken play. The right side of the line did not move off the snap. McKinley catches the pass, has the gain after a big hit up to the 30-yard line.
Right now, Munster doing a pretty good job moving the football. Some nice runs by McKinley. Now they go to the air and hit him sort of out in the flat. And you like to see that right now from the Mustangs. Here you see Pfister rolling out right. Throws a little duck right there to McKinley, but nonetheless a complete pass. 25, 30-yard pickup for the Mustangs. And you want to come out of this game putting some points on the board. Right now, Radke's trying to call for a timeout.
The wrong coverage as we had open receivers on the far side.
We got a timeout, Black.
Pfister called nowhere to go. And get over the line of scrimmage, that's about it.
For the Panthers right there, number 63, Luke Pearson, only a junior, defensive end, 6'3", 195 pounds. As we said again, not too much for buildings. There you see a good look at Coach Radke. He's in his 5th year at Griffith with 158 wins. They say he's the next best chance for a Northwest Indiana coach to catch, of course, Don Howell with 300. That's still quite a ways away. And I know Radke planning on continuing his high school career at least until his
break season's in between there, so.
Well, he's 43 years old. Not by any means on the edge of retirement here, but I don't know how long he plans to stay at Griffith. Like he said, he does maybe have some plan to go on and coach in college, which is always an option. But time will tell. Definitely a successful coach, one of the most successful ones in the region.
Pfister out rolling out, lets it fly, comes up short. Threw off balance from the air, actually.
Yeah, really, Pfister couldn't get anything under that ball. Didn't have his feet underneath him. Sort of looked like a second baseman on a double play right there, trying to avoid a base runner sliding into you. When you don't have your feet underneath you, not much you can do. So unfortunate Munster couldn't punch that into the end zone. Like to see them put some points up here tonight.
It was a 4th down attempt, so the Panthers step back out, will take over.
Yeah, Griffith sort of playing center field also on that 4th down, anticipating the pass from Pfister.
Off the right side, will pick up about 5 yards from the carry for Gratiot. Second down, 5 to go. And to set up Shane Radke, your quarterback, the full wishbone behind him once again. Palucci catches a hold in the line, will chug across for a couple yards and get a couple more after the first hit for the first down.
Credit Griffith's left side of the offensive line that time. Pretty nice hole for Palucci, and he was able to get the first down as a result of the battles being won in the trenches tonight by the
Coming
Panthers.
out the field now, Radke will take a seat. Stepping up to play, wearing number 6, Kyle Alexander, a sophomore quarterback, 5'7", 115. And you get some time in the night. This is what's good. You have to get your second string active when you have the chance throughout the season. Alexander will keep it, turns the corner up to the 49-yard line. They'll pick up about 5 in the carry. If you get your second string the action right now when they have a chance, when it comes down to crunch down, they have to get pulled up to the surface for whatever reason, they will be able to do that.
And that's even going back to what I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, just the whole practice schedule for Griffith. They have a complete 11 guys who's their #1 offense going against a #2 defense against each other all week, and vice versa. #1 offense going, or the #2 offense going against the #1 defense. So Kyle Alexander probably will face some game type situations a lot easier than the practice situations going against that #1 defense.
Exactly, that'll come down to it. We talked about how Griffith had the #6 defense in the area. Kyle Alexander faces that #6 defense 5 days a week. So when it comes out to playing the game situation, he is ready to go out there and roll.
And that's really a unique practice schedule. I've really never seen one, at least not in high school, where you have such specialization. Again, the only player going both ways is the coach's son, Shane Radke.
And that's nice too when you've got the roster to do that with. Because several times we saw how River Forest had, what, 28 guys dressed all together, maybe 30 kids dressed in last #2 game of the week.
Well, Coach well, go ahead.
So that's something that's really a commodity when you have enough guys to come out there and play this way. Ball pops up loose. Alexander has to drop on it. Bring the 4th down situation up.
And I guess coming into Griffith as a freshman, you pretty much have it settled on what position you're going to be playing. Not to say that you can't switch here and there. If you see some kid has a talent, you see a lot of defensive backs playing running back, quarterback, and vice versa. But right from the get-go, they have a position pretty much set for them, and they work on that all 4 years.
3rd down. About 6 to go. Alexander keeps the ball, looking for the pitch. No, he's ripped down from behind. Once again, I've mentioned a lot tonight, Tom Webb caught him from behind.
Yeah, you saw Webb actually initially go for the running back, did quick, kept on after the quarterback, and he was able to bring him down. And again, I think he's a nose tackle for Munster tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
That's always listed, but a lot of movement in that front line. You'll see him line up on the guard once in a while, line up on the center once in a while. They back off, they give him a yard off the line once in a while. So several options for the defense of Munster. 10 players in the first 5 yards here as the Panthers up for the punt team.
Oh.
Punt is up, nearly blocked. Fair catch away for it, but it wallows through the end zone.
Yeah, it actually sounded like that ball might have even been tipped, Joe. It's pretty hard to tell from up here. But Munster will get a shot from the 20-yard line. Chance to go 80. That's a situation where it's easy to just sort of roll over and die, I guess you could say, with the game obviously being out of reach.
It's something nice tonight, though. We haven't seen that at all. We've seen some second-string players come in. We've seen some things switch up, but really, both teams out here playing 100% throughout the entire ball game. Offensive reset. Pfister with the signals. 5 seconds on the play clock for the snap. McKinley off the left side tackle. Picked up about 3 yards in the carry. 2nd down. 7 to go. McKinley's seen that ball a lot tonight. On the pitches, on the inside power plays. Really not a one-dimensional offense, but not much really working for the Mustangs tonight.
Yeah, especially with the pass, like we've mentioned, really no choice for the offensive coordinator for Munster tonight. They had no other decision but to go to McKinley out of the backfield. Pfister just didn't have enough time back there.
First down for the Mustangs in that carry.
And again, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, don't be surprised if Munster can pull off 4 or 5 straight wins to end this football season. It takes some time to keep in mind they have an entirely new offense. I mean, Pfister is a starter, but he was a starter on defense last year. He wasn't the starting quarterback, so you might as well say a completely 11 new offensive players for Munster and 10 new players on the defensive side. It's going to take some time for them just to get into a rhythm and to build some confidence. And I don't know if Griffith is maybe a team to build a lot of confidence on this year.
Griffith can ruin the confidence for several ball clubs around Northwest Indiana. So it's not a team you want to use as a barometer when you try to get your season rolling. DeBlancy, the ball carrier, with the last first down for the Mustangs. Taking the seat for the Panthers. Ryan Hill comes off. The defensive back doing a nice job tonight.
You see maybe a future Griffith quarterback there. Wearing number 10.
Is it a Radke or what?
I don't know.
How many more generations of Radke QBs we have coming through here? Around the left side. They give a couple of yards out of the carry. They make it third down, about 6 to go.
Griffith's remaining games, they are at home against Clark next week for their homecoming. Then they go on the road to face the Red Devils, Lowell. And they have Calumet Whiting, who's really very impressive in Class A. That might be a pretty good ball game. And then Gavin before the sectionals begin.
Special timeout with some equipment on the field right now. I think a Whiting ball game. I like to see that one actually. It's a different arsenal, but just the same style. Also, Whiting will not. At that point, they'll be ready for their playoff time as well, and both teams will come out hitting hard. Check out our crew for tonight: Mike Pytrack at the director board as always. Audio, graphics, and replay. Ryan Gerstenberger. On the cameras, Andy Myhill and Jerry Moeller. Of course, a special thanks to Griffith High School for hosting us here tonight for their cross-conference rivalry here. And our production facilities, U.S. Cable, a TCI company in Northwest Indiana. Next week, across the Duneland Conference, Maryville and Michigan City will meet up. Munster working the ball now. The clock winds down. Stop behind line of scrimmage, and the clock winding for 15 seconds. In the middle of the roll, that will be the final ball, or final play of the ball game. The score: the Panthers 28, the Mustangs 0. As a shutout ball game, the scoring for tonight for Lukey. A 19-yard run to open things up in the first quarter. Radke carried the ball from 6 in the second quarter to make it 14-0. Then Grasha, a 6-yard run to make it 21-0 in the third, and Andreessen, a spectacular 64-yard run to cap in the final score tonight, a 64-yard run to make it 28-0. Of course, a nice ball game on both sides. Just really Griffith had the extra tools to get the job done.